vous me recevez 65. Également. Déplacement de message de départ.
Okay, hi guys, welcome to the show. 2 years in the making, the Red Lion Mark II, a very special collaboration. This is my baby right here. It's a little chilly out here. I'm gonna head home. Now I wanna share with you some of the Easter eggs, some of the inspirations, the making of, we could say. All right guys, let's do it. Before I even do wristwatch check, actually, you know what it is. It's the Vixa, and I can now share with you why, the true reason I bought this, aside from it being absolutely pure class and a monumental part of aviation history, or horological aviation history. I also bought it because I knew this was coming along one day, and it's related. We'll get into all of that good stuff in just a moment. It is on the collar ebb. Now you might notice this quite interesting two-tone brown affair. The collar ebb is the inner strap, then the bunt is actually from Hanhart. So I've got fatto in Italia, con un po' di a little bit of German made in there as well. And I think it works. Now, quick disclaimer before we get into this. Obviously, this is not a review, but a presentation, because I cannot address the negatives, because it's perfect in my opinion. But yeah, if it was a review, it'd be rather suspicious, just you know, endless mellifluous praise. But what I can discuss is the story behind it, its influences, why we've created this watch. Now, I only do a handful of collaborations a year, very specifically. Obviously, I want to give my full punctilious approach required to make something truly of worth. When you do too many collaborations, it becomes a thing of ego or a cash grab, and I feel that cheapens it. A collaboration every other month, like some of these publications do, it's just watering it down. It's devaluing the brand in question, and obviously my own input. And the rest of the time I want to make content and be an enthusiast that I am and share it with you guys. We make watches because we love them, and we want to enjoy them. So this is only one of two collaborations I'm doing this year with Gentry Labs. I'm still working on the website. It's a bit of an arduous task because I'm not a web designer, and all my time goes into projects like this. And I don't ever want it to be just a lazy dial change. I've never done that. If you look back at every single watch I've ever taken part in co-designing or designing, it's not just a simple, you know, oh, let's change the colors here, there. No, but it's always about bringing something new to the table, whether it is breaking a record in water resistance, or the thinness of a case to go to a particular depth, or introducing new technology like the HD12 scratch resistant technology, or doing a size that hasn't been done for 70, 60, 50 years, because, well, it's what we want. Right? That's what it's about. It's about making things that we love and to enjoy. The first Red Lion, the 39mm size, the first time it was done since the 1950s in steel. And then of course it became part of their permanent lineup with a slightly different version, and it also brought back the red pusher to the 417. It was an enormous honor for me. And then what subsequently followed, what allowed this to come to fruition, was the success with the HD12. The HD12, not a lot of people know that I actually I co-designed the HD12, the preventer, the simpler time-only layout, a kind of explorer-esque vibe. I wanted to reinforce the entry level for Hanhart to get new people into the brand, but it was massively important for me because it was not a limited edition. Obviously, I wish it was 36mm, but sometimes you've got to design watches for other people, not just what you want to see. This is a little bit more of an indulgence, shall I say. I'm sure Hanhart will make a 36mm version, but I didn't want to do that next. That's predictable. That's just about reducing the size. I wanted to do something a little bit more historically important and raised awareness of this part of their legacy that, frankly, other brands have taken the limelight, so to speak. Shout out a mio amico Giacomo. This confluence of features may seem maybe even logical or predictable, you could say, but for Hanhart, these heritage brands, changing little details like this, these are momentous things. Unfortunately, it is a limited edition because it's an enormously expensive watch to undertake. This is a column wheel, the manual wind Solita, it's a flyback, we got the shock protection. There's a lot going on here. So what is a Type 20? Let's address the big, giant, flying elephant in the room, shall we? Type 20 watches are military pilot chronographs based on a specification set by the French Ministry of Defense in the early 1950s. While interpretations do vary, its fundamental requirements were a flyback function, rotating bezels, a black dial with luminescent Arabic numerals, and at least a 35-hour power reserve. Breguet was of course the first to produce them, but the French MOD, in order to fulfill large orders as they rebuilt their post-war air force, would outsource production to a handful of watchmakers, the second of which was Vixa, then Orecoste, Dodin, Erain, and Chronofixe. However, what is unique and often overlooked about Vixa, and incidentally my main motivation for buying this vintage example, is the fact that it's manufactured actually by Hanhart in the Gutenbach factory of southern Germany. I had the pleasure of touring, making a video about, and even hosting an event there. This branding change was part of German post-World War II reparations to France, as the Black Forest region, where the factory is located, fell under French occupation zone. Rather selfishly, I also had an ulterior motive for designing this watch, a mechanical chronograph I could jog in, and hence the strap. You guys know I've been obsessed with straps for over a year now. Forgive me being out of breath and if there's water on the camera. You join me on a very wet, cold countryside setting. I'm about halfway through my jog, testing it out. Mechanical chronograph I can actually use quite literally in the field. Che freddo ragazzi, Inghilterra, but I love it. I love it. You got the big eye because as I get older, la vita è così, my eyesight is deteriorating, so I need to see the minutes better. And then the water resistance, look at this, just muddy and wet. So you got 100 meters water resistance. The only other thing I time is with a chronograph, gotta be honest, perché sono mezzo italiano, it's boiling of pasta. Perfect. All right, where are we going? A couple of miles that way. And then the flyback, if you're doing reps, extremely useful. Just look at this, gorgeous, endless, boundless fields. Shock protection, if I slip in on any of these logs or anything like that. Excuse me. Just gonna clean that. Everything you want, and a dual time zone, so I can keep track of, you know, either England or Italia while I'm in the United States, or vice versa. I couldn't be happier. Good old English mud, this. Best mud in the world, this. Oh, I got through it. How's the Hanhart? Ain't skipped a beat. Wow, unless it's supposed to. Yeah, let's go. Right, let's have it. I'm gonna finish my jog. The first red line proved there was a demand for this size. This asks the question, what if? What if Hanhart had continued to make the Type 20 under their own name? This is what it would have looked like. And I'll put the full spec on screen for you. Now with the HD12, a lot of people were saying, oh, it's a homage of the Mirth, when in reality, the Mirth was homaging a design language that Hanhart pioneered. So that was really about taking it back. And this is kind of doing the same thing. I've always wanted Hanhart to do a Type 20 because it's legitimately their heritage. Without Hanhart, the Type 20 would not have existed. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Breguet. I'm not going to write off never buying a Breguet Type 20, but it's an entirely different beast. It's gone in a luxury direction because, let's face it, you know, Breguet is super high-end. It's tarted up to the nines with all that decoration. It has lost a little bit of that tool-tastic honesty that this certainly has. And then you look at the other manufacturers of the Type 20 and they're kind of resurrected brands. And this is the only one that's made in the same factory as the very first Type 20s. So I think it has a level of authenticity that no other maker of the Type 20 can brag. So that's why it's so important, I feel, that Hanhart takes back this important legacy and part of their story, the definitive military chronograph pilot's watch, right? But there's another interesting twist to this story. Despite Breguet already having a, wait for it, long tradition, insert drum crash there, of making timepieces for French aviation and being unquestionably the most famed watchmaker of the Type 20, the spec itself was undeniably based on a design lineage and expertise pioneered, notice another Easter egg there, pioneered by Hanhart in the 2 previous decades. As the outstanding Hanhart book documents, which is an absolute must for serious horologists and enthusiasts of martial timekeeping, by the way, the Type 20 spec was formed shortly after a visit by top French military brass and government officials to the Hanhart factory. Impressed by the quality, capability and already established legacy of high-precision chronographs, this confluence of attributes also explains why a year before the Type 20's graced French pilot wrists, Hanhart introduced the equally paradigmatic but remarkably similar 417 ES in 1954. Ironically, around only 500 of the 417s in steel were originally produced, one of which, and I'm sure you all know the story by now, personally purchased by Steve McQueen during one of his trips to take part in motorcycle racing in Germany, as he required something robust and easy to read for the arduous task. While Hanhart will forever be associated with the Hollywood and sprezzatura king of cool icon, my own Vixa, even if the hands have been replaced and the dial reloomed during its long military service, it is still perhaps the most faithful and closest to the first 417s you can find on the market, due to approximately 4,000 to 5,000 being made. There's the color coordination in the design with the red pusher, a signature of Hanhart. If you know that story, it's a wonderful bit of their history. And then it correlates to the subdial hand, which is loomed. I insisted on that, reminding you it's all working in conjunction. Then on the back, we have the display, because I want to see that column wheel. Oh, we got a column wheel that is thermally blued in all its glory. That gives you that smooth actuation. The watermark is engraved on the underside of the sapphire, and this being a limited edition, it will be signed. Some of the other collaborations which you'll see when the website goes live and in the following years are not watermarked because they're for general release. This, think of it as a prototype. If it is successful, then who knows? We'll see if it becomes a permanent part of the 417 collection. Obviously in a slightly different format. I wanted a true dagger watch that does it all. You got multiple times, and when I travel, I always have my GMT on me because I'm currently traveling, as you can see. So a do-it-all piece that can handle everything you chuck at it in one go. Something that's interesting about this particular bezel, and this is an example of the kind of nuances that goes into designing watches. It's not coin edge, so it overhangs slightly, but then because this is manual wind, you can't make it overhang too much. So it was really a delicate balancing act to be able to still ergonomically manipulate the bezel, but have that leverage on the beautiful crown with that Gothic, that Germanic Gothic H, I just love it. Oh, che meraviglia. If you notice the numerals, the dashes between the numerals, they're closer to the dial. We position them so they'd get less confused with the number 1 or the number 11, which are also little lines, if you notice. Things like this, going back to my original point, that's why I don't do that many collaborations. I want every single little thing considered. So this is the 42. This is what we originally had to reduce to the 39mm of the Redline Mark I. To give you an example, they start out like these wax models like that, from the drawing board to that. Oh, and then somewhere I have a steel prototype of the preventer, which I had to bash up to test out that scratch resistant technology. Unfortunately, we don't have it here because we were trying to keep within a certain budget. At the end of the day, it still is a competitive market out there. It punches so much above its weight. And obviously I'm biased because I'm in love with it, but I mean, if you don't design something you're not in love with, what are you doing, right? But let's be honest, can you think of another brand that's still made in the same original factory with such a lineage, that's still independent? Something I've come to really appreciate is also the people behind the brand, the culture within that brand. It matters so much. And I got to say thank you to Felix, to Simon, to the whole team at Hanhart, all the watchmakers. In closing, as a show of gratitude to them, I've decided that next year when I go back to Hanhart for the 4th time, I'm going to donate my own Vixa to their museum. I want them to have it. This is part of that, telling that story. Without them, I wouldn't have been able to make this. So I think it's only right that I return this home where it belongs. I'm going to leave it there. I'm extremely happy, as you can guess. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you're going to purchase one, I thank you in advance, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I can finally enjoy it now, you know. Been dying to wear this and I simply can't. Don't forget to like this video, especially if you want to support the channel. It really means a great deal to me. Subscribe, there's the Instagram, there's all that good stuff. Onwards and upwards. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.